Hi everyone, welcome to the Watch Poplars. The repotting season of 2026 has begun. And today I plan to repot my currants because they are the first ones to... they're all about to flower and start sprouting leaves. So I better repot them. And this is a good time to repot them because the buds are swelling. And I guess in this climate, I'll show you the parent trees where these cuttings came from. This is the parent tree. Bush, shrub, whatever. And of course it still has leaves. However, the buds are smaller. They are less plump. But there's another one over there, I'll check that one out. This one looks like it kept its leaves on a little bit more. But it is also... the buds are bigger, and there's actually one right here that's like the flower's already dangling out. So yeah, spring here now, and spring is a very busy time of the year for people who do bonsai. I got a text message. Okay, it wasn't important. Anyway, I have a nice little setup here. I have a big pot and the tray, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so the currant cuttings, which are about they're gonna begin their fourth year. What they are already beginning their fourth year of growing, and they still have a leaf from their third year. And oh, it smells. Yeah, they smell fine, but once you put the leaf in your mouth, it doesn't taste as good as it smells, which is unlike most food experiences. When I smell food, usually it tastes the same. So I still eat currant leaves. This leaf is too spent to eat, but I don't want to eat any of the new leaves because they're too small, and they will provide photosynthesis for the trees. So these cuttings I collected, they were just little straight sticks, like that. And I collected them in early 2024, early 2023, I think. And then, yeah, they root very easily. They root almost too easily. Now I have 4 of them. I don't know which ones I want to keep. The ones that look the best, definitely I'll keep. They also, there's a branch here that I'll get into it when I've got all of them out of the pot. They probably filled the pot with roots. Now, this pot has cracked because it's not frost tolerant. It's okay, there's something in the bottom. Oh, it's January 6th. So it's early January, and things are starting to leaf out. And we do kind of get a winter. If you look around, it's not quite obvious that we don't have a winter, because everything looks like it has a winter, and then you see our apple tree that you're just starting to get fall colors. As well as the sweet gum trees, the hawthorn, and the dogwood, and yeah. So also the helenium flowers. But yeah, things are happening here among the watch poplars, and I'm very excited. So I just realized this pot seems very small now that there's no tree in it. So now it's time to get my favorite tool. My favorite tool, my root rake, which has tweezers on this side. So I will, when I do this, I rake the soil out radially away from the tree. And I do this until I bare root the tree, and then I wash the roots in a big bucket, which is behind me somewhere. And I rake radially because I want the roots to stay radial. I want to kind of untangle the ones that are, they're not going in a good direction. So I'm kind of tearing those away and keeping the straight ones. The edges of these prongs are a bit square. I could file them down so that they're round. They kind of go around the roots a little bit more. But I haven't had any problems with... Are there any maggots? I don't know. Okay, there are no maggots. That's good. No cranefly larvae, whatever. Yeah, this is a bit wobbly. It's also quite flimsy, this table. But now I can see how it does. I think I could put the phone on a lower level. I'll do that. I think this is much easier. This, I like to look down at the trees when I'm raking them out. Now cuttings, they sprout radial roots because the roots on cuttings like to go closer to 90 degrees from the stem, and they'll usually sprout in like a whorl at the cut point, so you get a nice root base if you plant the cutting in the middle of the pot, which I don't think I did with these at the start, but it's fine because I think I'll be getting rid of two, maybe these two smaller ones, unless those are the ones I'll keep. I don't know. I think it would be nice to keep those, but I don't know. Now, a lot has changed in the roots. I can already feel it. There's a lot of crossing roots that have grown. But because I do quite a severe root pruning to these every winter, and they seem to come back just fine without skipping a beat. So that's really nice. They're quite reliable as cuttings. I have never tried growing these from seed, but I don't think I need to because I'm happy enough with these cuttings. I'm gonna rake all the soil away, and I might save it. I don't know. I don't want to just wash it all off like in the bucket because I don't know if I want to save the soil or not. And maybe I plant it in a different container, possibly. I have a lot of pots. I have tons of pots. This is just like a tenth of the amount of pots of this size I have. So there are so many options I have. I think the next tree I want to pot up, like, or repot it depends on like which one breaks dormancy next, but I think it might be my honeysuckle vine, Lonicera hispidula. It's also called the California honeysuckle or pink honeysuckle. And it gets quite old. I've seen it in the wild, crawling up a big tree. They get quite nice. They get quite, like, as they age, they get very twisty trunks. So, yeah, I will be keeping that. So, eventually, soon, I'm going to be able to separate these cuttings. I think they've been growing in this container, this terracotta pot, for 2 years, but I've been just planting them in that same container every time I repot them. It's really fun. I love doing the repotting process in bonsai because it's so therapeutic. I get to spend time with just outside doing my own thing. So I'll come back when I've separated all of the trees. I've got the little ones separated. There they are. Now I'm gonna separate the larger ones. Another reason why I love repotting is because it's also just for like the functional part of it. The root base is the most important part in bonsai. You will, because if you may have this nice branch structure on a bonsai, and if the root base is not radial, they go out like this, like you see on a big mature tree, where they go out like this, then it's not really attractive. It doesn't it's not, because the roots, you want a root flare, you see it on the redwoods. Now because there's a lot of ivy, you can't really see the root base. But there's root bases, like they flare out, and that's a sign of maturity in a tree. There's a big nice oak in Walnut Creek, and it has the best root base I've ever seen on a full-size tree. So yeah, but also the privets get it. There's a privet here, but these are invasive. Ligustrum oblongifolia. It's a glossy privet from Korea, and they get good root bases too. And actually, you might, when they are old, you can see like the paths of the sap flow going up the trees, kind of like cedars do. So yeah, doing root work on bonsai is crucial for having a good root base. I'm gonna kneel on this blanket so I don't get my knees dirty. This blanket's a bit wet, but that's fine. It's not dirty, it's just wet. So yeah, now I could transfer the soil to the big pot because it has a nice texture. It wouldn't hurt adding it, reusing it. Just want to get these big major roots out of it. And yeah, I think I'll reuse that. It'll also give me more room to continue working over this tray so that I can do the root pruning. But now it is time to wash the roots. So basically what I have here is a mosquito breeding ground, but also this is where I will wash my roots. And so I just switched it around. You can see a branch broke here. I don't know how it did that, but it healed itself. It just repaired itself, and now I can't even bend it up anymore. It used to be more vertical. So I'm gonna have to prune that branch to an upward facing bud so that I can regrow that branch to a better direction. But I just switched around. Make sure to get all the soil out so I can clearly see the roots. I don't want to make any blind cuts, and I want to have the roots be clean of dirt so that when I cut them with my delicate scissors, I don't ruin them over time. I think that's good. So I will do the same for the rest of them, and I will come back and do the root pruning. When you are doing root work, there are a lot of times people don't feel comfortable enough bare rooting. This is what bare rooting is called. Bare rooting. Okay, it's not raining. Okay. Bare rooting is when you get all the soil out of the roots. So it's like completely, or just like clean enough that you can actually see every single root, the whole entire structure, like it's a silhouette, an X-ray or whatever. So so this is a bare rooted red currant cutting. There are some beliefs that, you know, pines don't react. I mean, because I know pines don't have a high water mobility, so, you know, they cannot grow from cuttings. If they can, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of skill that I don't know about. But that rumors have it that pines don't do bare rooting very well, and yet I have proved that otherwise with my gray pines, which are right here. And after the first root pruning, they were fine. They grew decently well. They recovered, and they're still alive. They like this one here. This one here grew that much in 2024 after I root pruned it, so that was fine. It was fine. It recovered. But, you know, I bare root all of my trees. It's just the difference in like severity of root pruning kind of matters, because you can't prune a pine's roots really hard, because it doesn't react quick enough to generate roots before it dies. These, however, react fast enough that they react and they sprout roots before they die, or go in shock. So yeah, it's different for a lot of trees, you know, like plants in the willow family, Salicaceae, such as let's see, willows and poplars. I grew this from an air layer, a ground layer actually, from a parent cottonwood tree with no hormones. I just bent a branch into the ground and it rooted in like 3 weeks. This is a cutting off of a weeping willow tree at my old high school, and I didn't use any hormones for this. I just stuck it in the soil and it rooted, and it was the only cutting I collected, I think. So I guess I was lucky. And all the willows I've grown mainly are from cuttings, because after all, rooting themselves into the banks of a stream are their survival techniques for growing near flood plains. I'm gonna start the root pruning with the smaller ones. And so yeah, so you can see I have all my roots, most of my roots are coming off at the base. I have few higher roots. Now, the trunk is a bit straight in this section. That was the original cutting. So this is probably 2023's growth. No, actually, I think I collected these in early 2024. Yes, that is right. So this is 2024's growth here. This is last year's growth, and this is this year's growth coming in right now. So, given that I don't want this straight section here, because it has a nice little curve here. So I think this would be a nice tree to have like low branches on. I think preferably this should be my root plane right here, where my scissors are, rather than here. So, you know, I'm just gonna prune the roots flat on the bottom. Now prune these long ones. And I think that's getting close to it. I'll just flatten it a little bit more. I wonder if these roots are getting active yet. I can't tell. You know if they're active if they have white, plump white tips on them. Prune it flat at the base. And then maybe eventually I'll you know, maybe I can even scratch this other layer and that will stimulate it to grow roots. Just lightly. You don't want to cut it. You want to just kind of scratch it into the cambium layer, which is the layer that produces roots. So I've exposed a bit of green right there. That's probably good. And I'll maybe do a little nick right here on the other side. But really nothing serious to disrupt the sap flow. And you can see the roots are fairly radial, so that's good. And I'll just prune them so that they're kind of going downward, none that go up. And I think that's it. That's good. I'll prune this one a bit more. You gotta prune their roots. You gotta have to find a balance. You gotta prune your roots enough that you don't have any straight sections, so that, you know, because the roots will want to palm, like a bunch of roots will sprout at the end of this one. So maybe I can probably prune this thicker root further, because also the vigor of that root is going to be greater, and it's going to want to take off a lot faster. There's this root here, cut over this downward root. I want to get rid of. I think it was dead as well. Okay, that's good. Off to the next one. This next one, I'll get a better position and move my Hinoki cypress to a better spot. Here, I guess. It's probably more bronze than it was last time I showed you. So, I think it's better to show you it from this angle. Okay. Now, maybe I could get closer as well. So yeah, I'll do the same. Oh, you can see here, I have a root that cranked it. Okay, so this root, where can you see it? Here, this root here, it cranks. It kind of cranks under the tree. It goes like that, and then it goes like that. So I don't want to keep that. I'm going to prune that crooked part completely off, and I'm going to keep the nice radial ones. Now, you can see the root base is not completely even. There's a high point right here and a low point here. So I'm gonna there's also roots under the higher roots, so I'm gonna prune those high roots off. So that I can make the root base a little bit more even. In fact, I'll get this one. There's roots coming off at the cut point. What is this? What's going on here? Are these crossing roots? Okay, so I have a root. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'll just cut it off, all these roots off short at the base. And I said this last year, like when you can stand the tree up on its own, on a completely flat surface, and you have done all the root work that you have done a good root pruning, and if it's all the roots are radial, there are no crooked ones, none that are cranked to the side. And if your tree stands up on its own, on its root base, without any soil, without any props, like this or something, I don't know, It can't, this one can't because it's not developed enough, but that's how you would know that you have done a good root pruning job. If it just sits like this, all nice, that's how you know you've done a good job root pruning. And it usually takes a few years to achieve that, but it's just something little insignificant that I've just noticed on a few of my trees. So there's a few more. I think it's still kind of like weird. There's like a low point here, there's a very high point here, and on the other side, and there's another low point on here. Yeah. Just prune some of the roots on that high point, because there's roots under them. It's a bit of a severe root pruning, but I'm leaving lots of little fine root tips uncut so that they will recover. Now, out of these, we'll get another bunch of roots because I disturbed the cambium layer. Now there's a high root right here. I'll prune it off. This root kind of goes in a funny angle. However, I think I can just correct that when planting it. I'll just kind of cut the overall shape. I'm holding it in a funny way. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Yeah, so that is a good root base. It's nice and flat, and my hand's not flat, but you know, yeah, that should do. It's a nice one. I think I could maybe, actually, it's a downward facing root. There's some of these roots I can actually, there's like downward, more flowing roots going below them so that they don't have to curve up at the ends. There's another one here, it's a bit high. You want your roots to flow into the soil, just like my hand here. Here's a trunk. You want your roots flowing into the soil like this, so that, like that. You don't want them to just go like this, or like too flat, like that. But you also don't want your roots like going in strange directions or whatever, or like you don't want your roots going like this, unless it's like a mangrove or something. Depends. But ideally, you want your roots to flow into the soil, because that gives it more of a powerful root base. Now, this video is quite long because I am giving a PSA, technically, I guess, about root pruning. Now is this exciting part, because I get to work on the larger ones. There's a huge root here, and it's competing with the strength of the other ones. So I'm gonna just first, you can see the edge, it hit the edge of the pot and went down. So I'll prune that part off. And I'll prune that flat to the base of, I need to switch hands. These scissors are for right-handers. Yeah, that's better. I don't want to have to... It's a workout to push the blades together with my left hand. So now this is much easier. Now, it's a better root base. I could possibly it's really stiff. I think if I tried to actually bind this back into place, it would crack on the other side. Oh, no, it's fine. I could possibly do it. It would be difficult because, it might leave like a scar on the backside right here from like the tether thing. And I don't know I don't think I have anything to like put around the trunk so that it doesn't get damaged by like a wire or something. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. I just prune to this bud here, or this branch here, and go from there. So that would be kind of nice. And having a little perching branch, I guess. So I guess I planted it a bit deep, so that's why the roots are going a bit up. Next time, I think this time I'm gonna plant them a lot shallower. Very peaceful. It's a very peaceful day. The rain has stopped, and I don't see any more rain for the foreseeable future. So there's okay, yeah. There's an upward root here. This root upward. The flow into the soil. This root. There's a finer root at the base of it, so I will cut it off. I'll try to get in there and cut it off very short. You want to cut the roots off. You don't want to square them off, because then the roots are going to grow like perpendicular to that cut point, as I mentioned earlier in the video. And the roots, they will from here, they will grow more flowing and more good direction. So there's roots under that. You know, actually, I'm gonna completely remove that, because there are very nice roots under that. Yeah. It took out another root below it, but it's fine. So there's a lot of soil in here that's still trapped in here. It's taking up these upward roots. So this section is looking really nice. Now, the Punese roots are a bit high. They're not very radial. All's looking quite good. So there's another root. It's a little bit high there. I think, and now I'm gonna just do a profile prune. So yeah, that's a nice root base. Very nice flowers coming out. I think the flowers are, it looks like they'll see flowers on almost every single bud, except these ones here that have sprouted leaves. So most of these are gonna flower, and I cannot wait for that to happen. I think these will be in peak flower in late January, early February, maybe. I mean, they flower until like early April. So who knows? I might have flowers for quite a long time. They grow on like panicles, which are like a stem that has little flowers coming off of it, but they droop. The buckeyes have panicles that are erect. There's a term for when they're pointing upward. I could just say the point upward. The panicles, the panicles are erect. Okay, now, Latin scientific terms get kind of funny. If you don't not completely exposed to them often. Now, okay, these buds are not in a good spot. They're growing into a branch that I want to keep. There's buds here. I don't want to keep these. This bud, I don't need this one. It's going inward. There's one here just going inward. I think this one's fine, because it's kind of bare on that side, and this tree's kind of two-dimensional at first, especially 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it was just 3 branches all in one plane like that. But last year, it kind of got some dimension. and grew this way. But now I'll help. Okay, there's a bunch of buds here, and I don't need them. I don't want them. I'm gonna rub them off. It's a bit risky because if that branch dies, you won't be able to replace it if you rub the buds off. So maybe I should just prune the buds, because there's still just like a really tiny nose left over. Oh, I'll leave that one. I'll prune these stubs. Oh. It's really hard. Okay. Really hard wood. Yeah. I should have got my branch cutters. Yeah. I'm not gonna prune these stubs because their new growth has not lignified yet, of course. And if I do that, it might. I'll leave them because it's, you know, it's pushing it. It might not grow as well because there's less. I mean, the wood here in these stubs is still alive. So if I cut it right flush to the buds, they're not gonna have a lot of space for that sap to funnel in. And maybe they'll die. Maybe it'll die back past the bud. You know, kill off the branch. I don't know, but. So I leave a bit of a stub, and I'll take care of these. You can see the collar where it has. Okay, I don't want that leaf touching the screen. You can see that you can see the difference between the dead wood and the living tissue. Right here, there's a collar. That's a very very distinct collar. Yeah, so that's how you know. That's what the stubs are for. So it can die back to where it wants to die back to. And so here, I'm gonna prune this dead part off, keep the living tissue, so it's gonna be a nice smooth curve. I am gonna prune this one up without showing you because the video is getting quite long. I scratched this part here because I want to move the root plane a bit upward, because here I got some nice roots at the level I want them to, which is here. So I wanted to continue that root plane right here. And then eventually I'll remove these lower roots, probably in like 2 years. So yeah, I'll see if that works. I am gonna prune this branch here. Oh, you can also see this is the growth that grew in before I fertilized, and this is the growth that grew in after I fertilized. So it was kind of interesting watching it happen. Oh, they hit the camera. Okay, so do I want this branch coming down? I don't know. So I think it has a really nice upward structure. So I think this lower branch kind of interferes with that, and I don't want that. However, there's an upward bud right here. Maybe I'll keep that. Now the tree's leafless. Actually, it's not, because there's new leaves coming out. Okay, that's great. It looks kind of like it would be like a good maple structure. A lot of trees grow like this. Okay, I have all the cuttings. Oh. You know what? There are buds that I might need to remove. These cuttings are gonna be very, very cute little bonsai. Especially this one. And these flowers are just about to come out. And you can see that they'll be pink. They'll be pink little flowers. And they'll kind of dangle. They'll look a bit out of scale for these trees, but you know, if it's gonna flower, so that'll be fun. It's gonna be, actually, I think these are gonna be flowering the most, like the best, like they've ever flowered before. Now to choose the pot, I don't think I want to choose this one again because it's really deep. I could add something like a rock, but like also I might need something bigger to fit all the cuttings, so that they can all grow a radial root system, and I don't have any of them like backed up on the side of the pot like this, which I had this last year. So I'm gonna choose a different pot. I don't know if it's gonna be like a ceramic one. I have my blue pots right here. I only have like a few of them, and I might be using. I'm gonna use a different one than that, because I have a lot of other trees I want to use those blue pots for. So I also want something that can fit all of the pots. I mean the plants. So decisions. I will come back when I have made my decision. Well, I have decided to use this blue pot because it's actually the perfect size. Because if you could see, the largest one is like this. Now I could put that off to like the side. Now the root bases could be, you know, but I do think this pot will be very nice for these currants. And it's because these currants are also quite developed. So a bonsai pot, usually a training pot, is just for like a training tree, like a stick or just something that's like only a few years old. But when your trees start to get developed like this, like they start to look like a tree, that's the time to choose a pot for them. Just generally, kind of like a growth step forward. So now I'm gonna quickly. Oh, so roly-poly, they're everywhere. So now I'm gonna put some drainage screens in here so that the soil doesn't fall out. When I'm harvesting window screen, I go here, and this is an old, unused, well, it no longer used window screen that the cats have torn up over the years. So we decided to get rid of it and we just put it back here. But I have been using it to collect a window screen for my drainage holes. And so I go down like this, and I'm gonna cut 2 squares out of it. Okay, I'm gonna cut these in half. Now, I could actually, I guess I cut a little bit too much, because now I guess I have space for an extra one. So, this will be an extra. I'm gonna put that. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna put it somewhere where I can see it easily, like on my willows. So now I'm gonna cut this one in half. I'm gonna put it just on the drainage holes like that, and it fits. It's really nice. And maybe, oh, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can't, but it's fine. Now I'm going to put, I gotta mix the soil that I have. So I'll do that. I have mixed the soil. These. So I'll put another great drainage screen in here. Covering another drainage screen, drainage hole, and so now usually, I mean, now I think this normal soil is gonna have even easier time falling through the holes rather than the granular bonsai soil that is usually used. So I'm gonna just pack down the bottom layer, base layer of soil. Make sure it's even and flat. And let's see. Is that good? It could go just 1 centimeter higher. I don't want to rub off the buds. Huh? There's a root. I want that root in there. Oh, it's a piece of moss. I want to keep that. Okay. Base layer is complete. Now, I'm gonna pack it down so that I can know whether or not I need to add more, so that when I water the trees, the trees don't sink in the pot. The soil doesn't lower and it goes below the lip of the pot, which is the rim, this is the lip of the pot. Now, that's much better. That's better, and yeah. So now, I'm going to position the trees and untangle them from their buds. When you're positioning a bonsai, you gotta, especially if you have multiple in the same container, it is good so that the branches, they kind of like go out like that, but also the branches, you don't want like them going like this and crossing. So whenever it's possible, you can kind of predict where the next branches are gonna go. So, I guess maybe I don't have room for any more, I could make a forest. It's a 4-tree forest. It's unusual. Because this pot is a bit small. I could put these on the edge. We'll see that. I'll see if that works. And then I'll grab these. Okay. And put them here. I think that works. Yeah. That's a nice compromise. I'm gonna rotate them so that they are going in good directions. Okay, that's great. That is great. I'm gonna make sure they're kind of, is that a firework? I don't know. Okay. Alright. That's good. Whoa. Now it is time. Oh god, how do I do this? I'm gonna do the pokey thing. And okay. So I've got a little wooden tile under here so that you can see what I'm doing. Now is the time to do the pokey thing to the roots. I'm going to get these, and I'm going to work the soil into the roots so that there are no air spaces, and this helps make the trees stay firmly into the soil. Now, I will come back when I have finished that. When you're doing the pokey thing in the roots with the soil, it's good to hold the tree while you're doing it so that it doesn't come out of position. So I can already feel this tree is getting a bit firm. This tree is not as much. I haven't done enough. It's not poked enough into the roots. And by doing this, I'm just getting the soil in between the roots. That's what makes it more stable. What makes it unstable is the air pockets. So when you have less air pockets, it makes the tree more stable and more secure. I will put rocks on at the base of them so that also there's soil chunks in here of a different kind, and they're like kind of clay, and they keep sticking to my tweezers. I have potted it up. Now it is time to add some moss. This moss is quite special because I took it in a plastic bag. I put it in a plastic bag and it got on a plane from Eugene, Oregon. Here, I guess I snuck it into my luggage because it was so nice. It's a kind of a whitish moss. When it's dry, it has gray tips on it. Now I can't focus very well, but it's fine. Yeah, it was growing. How was it growing? It was growing on a cliff like this, vertically. Now I laid it on its side, which is why, it's why it's growing like with these vertical growth. But then I flipped it 90 degrees and now it's growing just like a little cushion. So I will put that. It's kind of thick, but I could just break it up into little patches. They look kind of weird. Like that. You could just like see the cross section of moss. I'll just put that flat on the soil and it will grow upward on all parts of that little piece of moss. Now I'll come back and I'll show you the finished result. I think I would like to use more of this moss because this is the moss I've always had luck with. Because it stays green and it spreads, but it doesn't like spread like crazy like, this moss which grows on the trees. This is the classic spreading moss, and this is the classic cushion moss. But this is also kind of in between, and it's really nice. So I think I would like to use more of it, just in patches, because I don't want to just put one patch and have the rest of the soil bare. I will leave some of the soil bare so that I can just fill in over the summer. And this moss, it doesn't go dormant during summer. It stays green when you water it, and it grows. Unlike many of the other mosses I'm using. I'm just experimenting. To finish off the moss, I'm just gonna like cut off little tips of this moss and just litter the soil with them. And these will propagate into little bits of moss that will spread. And I think this is a shade moss, and this is under a redwood tree, so I don't think I'll have a problem with that. This video is getting quite long, so I will pause it again. Show you it when it's done. I have finished. I put the moss on it. It's very, very wet, and I'm still letting the water drain out. It's still draining, so it's gonna take a while for it to drain enough that it will actually drain between each watering. But yeah, and that will be when all the little dust particles get out of the pot, the soil, so that'll make it easier to water. But all I'm done, and this looks very nice, even though it has 4 trees instead of 5, an odd number, which is usually what forests are in bonsai. And I'm very happy about this. It fits perfectly into this pot. So I'll put it on one of the chairs, because that's where all of my good looking bonsai are. So here it is. There. It really stands out because of the color of the pot. It's so bright. And that is all for today here among the watch poplars.